DeLuna Coffee has been fueling Florida and beyond since 2014, and now wake up Warchant. DeLuna Coffee is owned and operated by the Lemmix family, Ed, Courtney, and their son Brett. When not roasting the perfect coffee blends, these FSU diehards can be found tailgating near the Unconquered statue. Go and set your sights on their Lighthouse blend. Made of 5 different coffee origins, a combination of light and medium roasted beans creates this wonderful cup of premium coffee. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi.
And Corey Clark.
In the sunstring, bikini between the buns of 2 cuties. Still macking, there'll be no nose job.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant. It is fueled by DeLuna Coffee. DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Promo code WARCHANT15. 15% off. Maybe some of that Hurricane. Maybe some of that Lighthouse. Maybe some of that 1559. WarChant.com, Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. Promo code WARCHANT30. Thumbs up if you're listening to us on YouTube. Maybe 5-star rating and a review. You're back for more. At this point, I can ask you for a little bit more. Folks, there's playing hurt. There's playing injured. There's doing what Corey Clark's about to do for us here today, everybody. My guy looks like he just went 15 rounds with Apollo Creed. I can't believe he's doing this. He loves you all more than words can probably even describe. But here he is. Corey Clark, how are you, man?
I am good, buddy. I am now officially, I guess, cancer-free. So that's good. They carved out that little carcinoma in my nose. Wasn't so little, I guess, because they had to go in there twice. Ooh. And then I went over to the plastic surgeon and had them screw around with my nose for about 30 minutes. It is pretty painful, I'll be honest with you. They really dug in there. I don't know if they got all the way to the bone, but I did. The nurse did inform me that I was a bleeder. So that was a bit of a bleeder, is what she said. So that was good. But yeah, feeling good, buddy. Feeling good. A little bit. Didn't get any pain meds. Just rolling with the Tylenol. So I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best out here.
I think that means like you'll heal quicker or you'll heal better that you didn't take pain meds. Because I remember when I got my wisdom teeth taken out, I took pain meds, but I didn't go under. And they were like, this will help you bounce back better if you don't go under. I'm like, all right, I won't go under then. So you were awake for this whole thing. Like you couldn't feel anything, I assume, right?
No, they numb you up pretty good, especially at the plastic surgeon. I mean, they really got in there. That was the most painful part initially, was just those needle pokes. And then now as we talk and the numbness is worn off, it's pretty painful. But you guys know how tough I am. I mean, I'm sitting in front of a microphone talking. And most people would be going back to the hospital right now. So, hey, shout out real quick to Brandon, who was actually the person that operated on me at the dermatology place.
Okay.
He's a fan of the show. And what was funny is after he went in the first time and then came back and was giving me the spiel about, hey, there's still some more here, so we have to go back in. Let's do that. So he went back in, carved me up a little more, cauterized the wound. And as he's walking out, his buddy, let me get his name right. I think it's David, who they share an office with. He works there too. He came in and just wanted to talk Florida State football for 15 minutes. So that was a really nice guy, and he was funny too. He's like, I listen to you and Aslan on my morning jog, and he goes, I agree with about 80 to 90% of what you guys say. And I'm like, buddy, that's probably a lot higher than most.
Yeah,
and the good part is that, as I told him, is if I say something that you don't agree with, Aslan usually corrects, we go back and forth anyway, so one of us usually shares your viewpoint. So if you say something he doesn't agree with, I call him out, I call you out on it, and vice versa. So yeah, good times. And Kaya was the nurse, took care of me, very nice person, had no idea who I was, and probably thought it was a little weird that one of the guys came in and was like, hey, I just want to talk to you for a second. But yeah, it worked out. It was fun. They were good guys, good people, and they got all the cancer out, which is the most important part.
How are you going to sleep? Like, are you a side sleeper already? Do you sleep on your back? You gonna be okay?
No, I sleep on my side. I'm supposed to be elevated. She told me to use 2 pillows, but I always use 2 anyway.
Right.
So 2 or 3 pillows, and I got to have this crazy bandage on for 24 hours. I can't shower. Oh. So I might not make it out to practice tomorrow or later on today. We'll see, but I'm not sure I want to show up to practice looking like this. So I got to keep this on until I record headlines, actually. And me and Ira are switching seats. He is going to be the one closest to the camera, and I'm going to be in the corner.
So, dude, come on, don't be so narcissistic. Don't be so.
Oh
vain.
no, like I can take. It's great. Like I think people would literally like because after by the time headline starts, I can take it off, and I probably will because it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a pretty gross gash. She told me I was going to be a little. I actually asked the nurse at the plastic surgery place. I'm like, look, this isn't a brag, although it was. Come on. I'm like, I got this YouTube show, pretty popular. Might have heard of it. She had not. But I'm on camera tomorrow around 1:00, and I was saying this on Monday. It's like, I don't know what this looks like underneath the bandages. I was like, should I be away from the camera? Is it going to be grotesque? And she's like, well, look, it's going to. And she didn't. I'm like, look, I can take it. I can take what you're going to say. Like, it's not like I did this to my nose. And she's like, yeah, it's pretty gnarly. You're going to want to be pretty far away from the camera.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, I appreciate that. And so yeah, Ira, buddy, you're doing it.
So you're gonna have a scar on your nose for the rest of your life.
Well, yes. Hopefully, what happened after at the plastic surgery, the plastic surgeon is the one that makes it least visible.
Okay,
like that's what he was there to do. That's why they sent me over there. They're like, look, they do this a lot better than we do, so he's better at it. So let him get in there and try to make it unnoticeable. So we'll see. I haven't looked at it yet. Tomorrow or later on today, I guess, when you guys are listening to this, I'll look at it the first time, and it'll be like looking at Frankenstein or something.
Well, partner, glad that you're here. Glad you're healthy most of all, though, man. So let's get on with the show,
buddy.
Then. Let's get
Me
on.
too.
With the show.
And as I wanted to say, as the segue, as I was in the waiting room, waiting to see if they had to go and dig into my nose more and cut more cancer out, I was watching. I was trying to watch as much of the press conferences as I could on my on Warchant TV.
He did. Corey got into the group chat and shared his thoughts on some things. So working all the time. All right, with that said, we did speak to Mike Norvell, the coordinators, Kenny Dillingham, Adam Fuller, and John Papuchis on Monday. That's usually what we do here on the Tuesday show, kind of wrap some of that stuff up. Corey, I don't know if you've obviously, man, you're. I'm not going to lean on you with this because I know you had things going on. Was there anything that you did hear in the limited amount of time that you were able to tune in that caught your ear or that you want to explore the space? And if you don't, it's fine.
Yeah, no, not really. I'd rather hear from you because I think, it seemed like when listening to Norvell that there were some things that I don't know how he answered the play calling question, but it did seem like there was some self-reflection, some staff reflection going on as to how they're teaching it or the decisions they're making on offense and the plays they're calling. So what did you make of that? Because I'm sure Dillingham was asked about it too. I did not get to see Kenny's press conference.
Are you talking about the mechanics of their play calling or what they're actually calling?
All of it, just what's going wrong with the offense and what decisions or changes can be made. But yes, I guess just the apparatus of the play calling as well. And quarterback decisions, all that stuff.
All right. Well, on the latter, in terms of like the actual mechanics of it all, it's Kenny's calling the plays, but he's heavily involved. It's a collaborative effort is what Norvell said, and it's something that they'll continue to evaluate, but it didn't seem like he thought that's problematic or that's going to be one of the things they have to change. I mean, he did mention that the 3rd and 1 short stuff has been maybe the most disappointing part of this whole offensive struggle is that they haven't been able to convert on those 3rd and shorts. But otherwise, it's like mental errors. He did say, and I'll play a soundbite here a little bit about just the amount of effort, maybe they're kind of getting in their own way, but it does sound like he does think they're capable, they're being trained properly to be put in those situations, and he still doesn't really have an answer as to why they're not executing well. But I mean, he did point out the fact the offensive line is a little bit banged up. That's not helping out. Turnovers. I mean, when I asked him about what happened to your guys' ability to score on those opening drives of a game in the second half, he pointed out, hey, we fumbled, and it's true.
Right.
He's like,
That's
what do you want?
Point.
But also, then he comes and talks about the second half. We moved the ball down, but we just couldn't finish. And unfortunately, I handed the microphone back, and I want to be like, well, then, why? That's because that was a thing last year. Is that they got into a rhythm on those drives where it looked like nobody really could stop them. I mean, they looked really sharp on those drives. None of that stuff's been around. But this was what kind of caught my ear because obviously everybody wants to get this thing fixed. There are no hard solutions being given out. I'm sure they're examining everything they can. There's been a little bit of a shakeup on the depth chart, mainly at defensive back. But this was the sort of soundbite that stood out to me from Mike Norvell when we spoke to him on Tuesday morning in terms of when this thing's going to get right.
Trying to almost do too much because they want it so bad. And you just got to be able to trust the things that you've been trained to, trust the things that you have the confidence in yourself, and to be able to go out there and execute it. And that's why I've got confidence in where this team's going. I've got confidence in, and I'm not talking about in years from now. I'm talking about right now, and I'm talking about like this opportunity and this week. We're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to develop. We're going to continue to build upon the positives. We're going to continue to learn from the experiences of the negative. And when you go out there on the practice field, when you go into the meeting rooms and you're willing to invest, and then you've got a chance to get it corrected, and we're going to get it corrected.
I found that the most interesting, Corey, because that was him kind of talking about what Sunday looked like and then responding because I'm a TV guy and that was the best soundbite, but also I think it was the most relevant thing, man. Like, so where are we in this? Like, is this obviously it's another lost season, but is this just going to be a complete grind of the next 9 weeks? And I don't know. I mean, I don't. He didn't say it won't be, but the fact that he said that, we're going to get better, we're going to get this fixed, and I'm not talking years from now. I thought he said 8 years from now when he first said it, but he just said in years from now.
So just hold on, Nole fans. It's coming.
Yeah. So he said this week. So I don't know, like, what could change. But maybe he just simply feels that it's staying the course and there's just a couple things they can clean up and be all right with.
Yeah, so I think when he says something like that, man, I think he's talking about the offense. They firmly believe in their offense because it's worked everywhere it's been. Now we're 12 games in, and it's as bad now. That performance was Georgia Tech-esque, but they believe in what they're doing on that side of the ball. They believe in their plan. They believe in their scheme, all that stuff, their plays, everything else. Maybe not the players so much, but I think so when he says he's looking for them to improve this year, to make that jump this year, not years from now, he's got to be talking about the offense. Now, of course, the wins need to come, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. But we know what the defense is, man. And we know that there's a very, very good chance that there will be a change made sometime before New Year's, probably before National Signing Day in December, on that side of the ball if things keep going the way they're going. We understand that. Man, that's half your problem. The other half, the bigger half, in my opinion, because we've talked about it, these are two offensive guys that have been joined at the hip for 5 or 6 years, is what's going on the offense. You look around the country, all these teams are scoring a bunch of points. Your offense is scoring 14, 17 against bad defenses. So that's what I think he has confidence in that will get fixed. I just think that's what every time he says, I think it's going to get fixed, our execution, our fundamentals, I think he's always talking about the offense. And, oh, man, just a play here or there. Keyshawn Helton makes a catch. Jashawn Corbin doesn't fumble. Mackenzie Milton doesn't fumble, but multiple times. All these things happen, and you can talk yourself into, if that happens, well, that's 21 points. That's 24 points. And if something else happened, that gets us up to 28, 31, whatever. So I think they think they're closer there. I think they do think that they're close, and all they do is lament these penalties and these mistakes and these lack of execution. And I think that's where maybe fans get frustrated, is like, we hear it every week, like we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We can't get out of our own way. Well, that's what Sunday to Friday is for. Figure out a way to stop shooting yourself. Go get rid of the shotgun. Go bury it somewhere. Like, figure out a way to get this team to stop making so many mistakes. Every team is going to make some mistakes. Every offense is going to make some mistakes. But you don't need to lead the country in mistakes. Whether it's drop passes, turnovers, weird decisions on fourth down, and 12 penalties a game, you lead the country in mistakes on that side of the ball. And that's what I think when he really talks about this program right now, that's what I think he's talking about. And as we move forward for these next 9 games, we're not expecting an Orange Bowl invite. All I'm looking for is to see some semblance of improvement in real improvement in real execution on the offensive side of the ball. That's all I want to see. That's all I'm focusing on for the rest of the year.
Well, yeah, because if he fixes that, they'll win football games. Because I think the defenses, despite their struggles, and you kind of touch upon it, was good enough to beat Jacksonville State, and did probably enough to at least. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're expecting to go into Winston-Salem, not that it's a house of horrors, but like so your plan is like we got to score 28. You got to hold teams at 24 or under to win football game. I just don't,
yeah. I think if both of us, if you would have told me before the Wake Forest game what it was going to take to win that game, I think I would have said 30 to 35 points.
Yeah,
which you would have been right there, right?
Yep.
But you keep it's not just that the defense isn't very good, because it isn't, and it gives up yards and it gives up points. But get it off the field. Keep your offense on the field. They put the defense in such bad positions with the interception in their own territory, with a fumble in their own territory, with a bad punt line drive right down the middle of the field that's returned to your 40. And the defense actually bowed up, or that game was going to be a rout. Like, it was only 13 points at the half. I thought they were going to be down by 28 at the half, the way that was going. But the defense actually got a couple big stops. And in the second half, I know the score of the game dictated some things, but the defense gave up 1 touchdown in the second half. The offense scored 0. So what difference did it make? The defense is what it is. It's just not good. But it doesn't appear to be. We'll see what it looks like when it starts playing better and better teams, but it doesn't appear to be an insult to football like it was last year. It does seem to have made some improvements. The defensive line, I would say, is good. Mm-hmm. Not just good for Florida State. I think it's a good defensive line. So at least you got that, right? At least you got something. So the offense is what I'm focusing on. And as our man Dillingham said, I did catch this part too. I guess I lied. I saw more of it than I thought. We're waiting for the bamboo to sprout, baby.
Ooh, no, let me. I got it queued up.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Let's go. Let's hear it. I want to hear it. It was a great line.
It was amazing.
If you worry about what's happened in the past, if you worry about what people are telling you, if you're sad every day because of how we started, I mean, I feel bad for you in the real world. Because when that thing hits you, well, welcome to it, right? You got to find a way, and our guys eventually, the work we're putting in, right? It's like the old bamboo saying, right? The work you're putting in, you don't know it's growing roots, and then all of a sudden it spurts 90 feet, right? We don't know when that 90 feet is going to happen. And I keep telling them, I wish it happened last week. I wish it happened week 1. I don't know. But if we keep putting in the work, eventually that bamboo tree is going to start growing. And that's our challenge, is not many people are going to stay true to the process when bad things happen. Not everybody just wants to jump ship and change, right? There is no change. There's a recipe for success. It's hard work. That doesn't mean you're going to be successful. It just means it's the recipe. Eventually, I don't know how long it's going to take, but the hard work is going to pay off, and the tree is going to start sprouting.
He was upset, man. Kenny had something for us on Monday, man. Good little anecdote, though. Never heard that one before. I like it. I'll use it.
Yeah, man, and if you're a Panda in the Tallahassee area, roll over to Moore Athletic Center near Doak, man. There's going to be a bamboo sprouting up any set. Don't pandas hang, or is that koalas? I think pandas eat bamboos, right?
Yeah, koalas like eucalyptus.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So pandas roll with the bamboo.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I've never heard that before. I didn't know they sprouted up 90 feet in a night either. That's cool. We're learning stuff every day from this staff. You know what I mean? Like it's like a planet Earth. That's pretty cool.
Lessons, yeah.
And look, man, we all hope that that's the truth. But again, he's got to say something. And he might be upset with the criticism he's getting.
Oh, he is.
But buddy, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what job do you think you're in that you can put that product out on the field 2 weeks in a row and expect at a place like Florida State? This isn't Arizona State, and this isn't Memphis. When you put a product like that out on the field, you are going to be criticized heavily. There are literally millions of Florida State football fans around the world. They all saw you lay an egg the last 2 weeks offensively and not seemingly know what you're doing from week to week. So there is going to be criticism. But you do hope that there's some truth there. And look, man, they do have a history. Maybe not Memphis so much, because Memphis was already was rolling with Fuente. He took over a winning program. Correct. He did not take over what's going on here.
Yes.
But at Arizona State, they built something. And they had to work a few different things out. Like they lost a quarterback, so they went to another kid, a kid that ran more. And then another kid came back, and he set all these passing records or touchdown passing records. So they figured out a way to make it work other places. And so they do have a history of it a little bit, I guess. But, man, putting all that work – I guess the question is, it doesn't matter if we see a bamboo sprout. It doesn't matter if we believe in that old, I don't even know what you call that, old wives' tale
adage
about bamboo.
Idiom?
Yeah. Idiom, axiom, not an axiom, an idiom. But do your players,
Yeah.
do your players believe that all the work they're putting in, it's about to flourish? Any second now, it's about to flourish. And they might. Like, again, you look at that Wake game, if they could pick up a yard here or there, they might put up 28 or 35 points. They're down 27-14 to start the third quarter. They have the ball. They're at the Wake 40-yard line, 3rd and 1. They end up punting. Mike Norvell would never punt in that situation, except his quarterback somehow took a 10-yard loss on a sack on 3rd and 1. And then he didn't play again, that particular quarterback. So say you pick up that first down. Say Jordan Travis doesn't hurt himself inexplicably on a Hail Mary before the half because he just allows himself to get torched. Do you go in and score there? Do you feel like, okay, you're about to go in and score? If they can pick up a 4th and 1 at the 12, if he doesn't fumble at the 1, there were points out there to get. In Jacksonville State, you got down inside the 5, didn't get any points. That's 3 straight times. That's 3 times they've gotten inside an opponent's, 12, 15-yard line the last 2 weeks and didn't score a point. So if you could figure the red zone stuff out and the third down stuff out, there are points and yards out there. I do believe that. The question now is, who's your quarterback? Who's healthy enough to play quarterback? And what kind of offense are you going to try to run? Because that was hard to decipher on Saturday. Yeah. But good for him, man. I mean, good. If you want to get your back arched up like he did, that's fine. But, man, if you go out there and score another 17 against Louisville or 14, it's coming. It's not going anywhere. You're 0-3. You're the only Power 5 team in the country without a win. And one of those losses was to Jacksonville State where you scored 2 touchdowns. You've gone 2 straight second halves without scoring a touchdown. You only have 3 points, and it was a 53-yard field goal. So criticism is coming, man, and it's deserved. But, yeah, if you go out and put 40 on Louisville, all of a sudden that dies down a little bit. You go put up 40 on Syracuse, it gets quieter and quieter. But they have to do that, man. You can't expect us to just believe that a bamboo's going to sprout.
Jordan is sore. He was sore on Sunday. That's what Norvell told us on Monday.
Okay.
So they'll continue to monitor him. Kenny said that they both have differing skill sets. The plan was to go series to series to series and then play like a hot hand, which I don't agree with, but that's what they want to do. I kind of admire him.
Here's the thing with that. Can I say
Sure,
something real quick? Because I did see that too. I don't mind that. In fact, I thought they were going to do that against Jacksonville State. That seemed like something to do against Jacksonville State if you're truly wondering who your quarterback is going to be. My problem with it is, okay, is it just written in ink, like in felt tip magic marker, that Mackenzie Milton gets the first series no matter what, and Jordan Travis gets the second series no matter what? Because what if Mackenzie Milton completes a pass on his first play, and the second play is a fumble? You don't just you don't just say, okay, we'll start over. Mackenzie, you get this next drive. Jordan, you get the one after that. Like, that's his drive?
Yeah.
Was the 2-play fumble? Like, that didn't seem. You planned all week to have Mackenzie run this set of plays, I would assume, because they script him out. The second play doesn't work. It gets fumbled. Then you just scrap the script? Well, how does that make sense? Like, why wouldn't you let Mackenzie Milton run the next 7 or 8 plays of however many plays are on that script on the next drive? And then after that, I'm sure you scripted the plays for Jordan Travis, which clearly they were just draws. They were quarterback draws that didn't go anywhere. Or at least the first 2. Yeah, they all were. I know that even that last one was either a screen or a draw on Jordan Travis's first series. You've obviously scripted these all week. You've had 6 days to prepare what plays you're gonna run for these guys, and you let one fumble just be like, sorry, Mackenzie, we'll see if we can get you back out on the field. That seemed odd, right?
Absolutely. I mean, part of me kind of admires the fact that he's was kind of scoffing at changing things up. Like we're gonna do what we are. We're gonna be who we are, because it makes it a little bit easier to then obviously judge them and grade them at the end of these things. But I don't know is this having your cake and eating it too when you talk about how you're going to continue to use both of these guys. We need both of them available because they have differing skill sets. But you guys are not executing anything crisp. So you're not able, there's not enough carryover between these two guys. And listen, I don't know, offensive line might be still doing the same schemes and concepts, blocking, and running backs and receivers have the same sort of, responsibilities. But at the same time, like, if they have these differing skill sets, well, then clearly there's a different sort of feel and aesthetic to what you're running with these guys. And this team seems to need every rep to matter and be cohesive. And if you're going to have these two different kind of attacks, man, that you're at a 4 on both of those guys. I'd rather have one of these guys playing like at a 7 or at an 8 than both these guys playing at a 4. So I wonder if that's going to have to be something they're going to have to reconcile sooner than later. And again, man, and if Jordan's good to go, I still don't know, because all right, if he's good enough, if he can practice Wednesday and Thursday, when he misses today, I mean, I don't want to be like you got to practice to play, but he's going to get hit, he's going to get hurt. And at what point, and if you guys can't pivot quickly to him leaving a game, you're not doing this team you're doing this team a disservice, because he's going to exit the game, and if you don't know how to handle that, man, then you guys are dead in the water, because they were, once Jordan left, they seemed to have no idea how they were going to utilize McKenzie, as though all the other previous stuff they worked on with him just went out their head. It's a very frustrating thing.
I did want to bring this up. One adjustment they did make, which is just completely simple, but it is something that maybe gives you a glimmer of hope moving forward, is once Milton got in the game in that second half, they didn't screw around. They saw the Wake Forest defense and the alignment, and they're just like, here, running back, here's the ball, go run around the corner, go run around the end, because there's nobody over there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes coaches outthink themselves to death, and I'm certainly not saying these guys are doing a bang-up job, but you know what play I'm talking about, where it was like a little screen pass, but they did like 4 of them, and each of them gained first downs because the Wake Forest just wasn't adjusting to it. So I like that they did that. They moved from 20 to 20 with Milton, but what's crazy to me when they talk about the differing skill sets is Jordan Travis has thrown for more touchdowns this year than McKenzie Milton. McKenzie Milton has run for more first downs than Jordan Travis. Let me repeat that again. Through 3 games, McKenzie Milton has run for more first downs than Jordan Travis.
So and they had no answer for that, by the way. They were asked kind of like, why isn't Jordan running nearly as well as he did? And they really didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah, I don't either, but he's not.
He isn't,
so that, I know when he came into the game that first series, that almost seemed like we're going to run Jordan Travis. I think it was 3 straight runs. At least 2 of them were design runs. And the third and 8 looked like a design run, because I was looking at the receivers downfield and they were blocking the guys on the edge. It wasn't as if they were running routes. So that was a run that went nowhere. And it's like, okay, you're not getting anything with his legs right now. I don't know why. And it can't be because they're paying attention to him now, because they all paid attention to him last year. And he still ran. It's not like he surprised North Carolina that he could run the ball, or he surprised Notre Dame that he could run the ball, or Duke. I mean, they knew what he could do. They had watched it on film. They had prepared for that. They couldn't stop it unless, until they hurt him. And so I don't know what's going on there, but it is not a weapon at all. So but then, who's doing more with their arm? I don't know. I think there are plays that McKenzie Milton makes, I'm telling you, where you're just like, well, that's not normal. That's a guy that was just born to play quarterback. There was a play where he's rolling to his right. He points downfield with his left hand to the middle of the field to no one.
Like, go deep.
Yeah, but to no one. And then throws almost a no-look pass to, I can't remember who was on the sideline, maybe McLean, for a first down. Like, he did that with his left hand only to fool and freeze the safety, knowing the whole time he was going to throw to the guy on the sideline. That's the stuff that's just innate that he has. But then he's also thrown into triple coverage to Keyshawn Helton. So who knows? And then Jordan Travis does things like takes a walloping hit on a Hail Mary the ball goes 35 yards because he's hit. No, you can't get hit like that. He was not blindsided. It did not come from the back. It was head on. He saw it the whole time. As a quarterback, you can't do that. You can't take a shot like that on a Hail Mary where there's only one guy. You just can't. You duck out of the way. You get rid of the ball quicker than that. You don't let him get near you. Anyway, so Jordan Travis does that kind of stuff, like holds on to the ball too long, throws the ball to Corbin when it's clearly going to be a 7-yard loss on the first play against Notre Dame, hits him right in the chest when he should throw it at his feet. But then he also drops dimes on people too. Mm-hmm. He's made more consistently good downfield throws, better throws than McKenzie Milton. So it's like, I'm not saying he's a better quarterback than McKenzie Milton. I don't think he is. It's certainly not from a throwing standpoint, a natural throwing standpoint. But he's also putting some points on the board. McKenzie Milton ain't. And so that's where you wonder, like, when they look at these two quarterbacks and say they have differing skill sets, all right, well, it seems like the other one's doing better at what the other one's supposed to do well. And not that Milton's been a great runner, but Milton has extended some drives with his legs. Jordan Travis hasn't at all. So, where is that? And where is the Milton, where are the big plays for Milton in the passing game other than the Helton drop? Where are they? We haven't seen those. We only see those from Jordan Travis. So I don't know. But you know what? We got 9 games left, Aslan. We could figure this out. Milton might come out and light it up on Saturday for about 4 bills, and then all will be right in the world.
Hey guys, if you're interested in investing in cryptocurrencies but aren't sure where to get started, check out Kraken, everybody. Buy the dip, y'all. Don't freak out. Bitcoin went down a little bit on Monday. Buy the dip. El Salvador just did. With Kraken, you can buy and sell over 50 of the most popular cryptos like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Ethereum, all on the go from your phone 24/7. It's super easy to get started. Just download the app, create an account. You can invest in minutes. And the cool thing is, you don't need a whole lot of money. I think Bitcoin is still like close to $40,000. It's just like, how? What? You can buy as little as $10 worth of it on Kraken just to get your feet wet and start becoming a day trader, possibly. Find out yourself why Kraken has been ranked one of the highest, best places to buy crypto for the last 10 years. Kraken.com, Kraken.com/warchant to learn more, or just search Kraken in the App Store. Corey, this is now, I think this is like twice now where they're not adapting all that well. They didn't adapt all that well in the first quarter against Notre Dame, and then Kenny, part of Kenny's roller coaster was kind of coming out the gates a little bit upset, and then he kind of cooled off with the bamboo, and then I think he kind of ramped back up again when he was talking about just why they're not able to be nearly as successful as they were last year. Talked about Wake Forest might have given them 8% of the looks they were expecting. They said that Wake Forest was by and large a zone pressure team. They were that under Mike Elko. They were that under Clark Lee before him. And they were in man-free by and large. So there was man-to-man coverage. Everybody had a man on him. And then free safety, just kind of playing center field to make sure nothing big got busted. Props to him for admitting it. But I mean, at what point? But at what point are you not properly scouting? And I don't want to say they're not properly scouting. Yeah, I mean, if that's what they're doing on film, that's what they're doing, and that's who they are. That's who they are. But he said, like, we didn't have enough man-free beaters in our playbook, and that falls on me. I don't know. Is that just going to be the calling card for teams going up against Florida State? Like, hey, let's just do something completely different than what we usually do, because even though it's going to be new to us, they haven't shown an ability to respond. I mean, I give him credit for admitting that. That's got to be kind of tough for a coach, admitting like, hey, they totally surprised us and we had no answer for it. But then again, it's obviously concerning that you don't have an answer for it because you're a coach. Maybe part of it was that drive in the third quarter where McKenzie started kind of checking down and moving the ball across the field for him. Maybe they got to find a little bit more of that, possibly, hopefully. But what do you think about hearing that?
I don't. It's 2 out of 3 weeks where your offensive coordinators come out and admitted they were completely befuddled by what they were going up against. And I'm all for transparency. You guys know that. I'm in the media. I love talking to these guys. We do learn a lot, and I do appreciate it. I would change that tact a little bit if I was Dillingham. There's a way to make that known that they did some stuff that you weren't necessarily you weren't expecting without sounding like you weren't prepared for it. Because I thought you were prepared for everything. Like if they decided to play a block punt formation on defense and rush all 11. You should be prepared for that. Your quarterback should just throw it up to somebody, and it's going to be a wide open touchdown. You have to let your fans know, give them some confidence. I guess you don't. Maybe your players give them some confidence that you know what you're doing, and you have a counter for everything. And right now they adjusted to Notre Dame, put up 38. So, and that was a lot of that was in the fourth quarter, but still it counts.
Yeah.
And so I just, when you say stuff like that, number one, the biggest concern right there with all of that is you have a defense at Wake Forest who was horrible last year and has not played anyone this year. You could still say that, honestly, after 3 games. They have not played a good offense yet. But they're so unconcerned with your wide receivers that they'll put their corners in man-to-man, not worried at all that they'll get beat deep. Now, they did one play, but that's how they are willing to do something different solely for – and Wake Forest had 6 in the box the whole game. It's not like they had 8 in the box. So, I get – they wasn't like – maybe I'll put it this way. When Wake Forest plays man-to-man, they're not up at the line of scrimmage like Florida State corners are. They're off. It looks like a zone because they were so far off. And look, man, so I would say something like, if I'm Dillingham, and I'm older than him, maybe I can dispense a little wisdom to my guy just about dealing with fans and media, is to say, look, they did something they hadn't done a lot of. They're usually a zone team. Against us, they were mainly man-to-man. And in that instance, our receivers have to go make plays, and we have to make good throws, and we have to give our receivers a chance to go make plays. We didn't do a very good job of that. And leave it at that. But that's 2 times in a row now where he's admitted a defense has done something he completely didn't expect. I love the transparency. It's maybe just not the message that Florida State fans want to hear. Or maybe even players for that matter.
I don't like you coaching them up like that.
Well, just say, I mean, that's a smart thing to do, right? Like, look, we knew they played some man. They played a lot more than we expected them to play. They played a defense that we hadn't seen a whole lot of, but we have adjustments and counters for that. We have plays to combat that. We just didn't execute them. Our receivers have to do a better job of getting open or making plays or whatever you want to say.
Well, that's the thing, though, because then you're blaming – is that him falling on the sword? Is that him kind of telling us, listen, they were in man. We didn't get anything done because we can't win in man situations. But he didn't say that. And then he's like, it all falls on me. I got to do a better job of preparing us. Is that him kind of saying, like, listen, I don't have – because we're going to get to the defense here as we kind of wrap up the show. I mean, Adam Fuller, poor guy. I feel bad. I almost feel more bad for Adam Fuller than I ever did for Willie at any point. And I felt bad for Willie. I really did. I mean, I didn't want him to stick around.
You knew Willie, no matter what happened, his life was set.
Right, right.
He can go live he can go buy his own island if he wants. Adam, 800,000. Look, I'm not sneezing at that. We'd all take that. I assume most of us. Maybe not Ray Pereira, but a lot of us would take that in a second. And he's guaranteed $2.4 million for coaching at Florida State. But his one shot at a Power 5 job might be ending in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, because we've gotten to know him a little bit, and he does seem like a real stand-up dude. I can understand why that'd make you a little sad. Like, this is this guy's shot. Dillingham, if something happens to him, he's 20. What is he? 28,
31,
27,
31 or something.
I keep thinking he looks like he's still a grad student.
Yeah, he's still rushing Delta Tau Delta. Yeah.
Right. So he's got, I don't know. I just feel like he'll land somewhere else. Fuller, again, nothing wrong with the Marshalls and the Rices of the world, but that might be where he goes back to. And this might have been his one shot. It's not gone well. I do feel bad for him. But anyway, go back to Dillingham real quick.
Well, just before that, it was just his comportment. Like, Adam Fuller just kind of, it's written on his face, like he knows this is not going to. You remember he talked about the movies.
You were talking about Dillingham, though, about the receivers.
Yeah, but back to Dillingham. I don't know if I asked him or Norvell just about, like, I'm trying to give all these guys a little bit of a break. Like, hey, at what point is it man-to-man stuff, whether it's defense and having to make a pass breakup, or it's a receiver and having to make a play or get open? Or I guess I was kind of trying to ask him, does a quarterback need to trust the receivers? Does he need to make the tough throws? But is the sort of the admission of, hey, they got me. They prepared. They threw something at us that we weren't ready for, and I got to do a better job of having a counter to that. But the way he kind of mentioned that, hey, it was man though, like, hey, they played man free a whole bunch and we couldn't beat it. How much of that is him kind of trying to diplomatically nod his head the way Will Ferrell does in the scene in Old School about, I got to have sex with one woman for the rest of my life, and he starts tilting his head at his wife sitting next to him. How much of that was him saying, like, do you see who we're trying to win one-on-ones with? Nobody can win one-on-ones with these guys.
Yeah, man, so you're telling me that Wake Forest kid, he'd be the best player of Florida State? And I'm not talking about the 6'5" kid. I'm talking about the kid that made 3 really tough third down catches with guys on him in the second half to keep drives alive, or maybe I think it was the second half. That to me is what's concerning. I don't think they lack. They don't have incredible NFL talent, but I don't think they're like bottom of the barrel in the ACC as far as wide receiver talent. They don't fight for balls. They don't go get balls, and I don't know what that's about, but it's been a problem now for a while. They don't get a ton of separation, and when they don't have separation, they just do not make a lot of tough catches. They just don't. No matter who runs through here the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't been making a lot of tough catches. And so I was thinking about this because we are lucky enough to watch practice. I want to qualify this again. We watch what they do with the receivers every day. And I think if I was Mike Norvell, they do like team stuff. If we could break it down, Aslan, they do some team stuff to start where it's 11 on 11 or 7 on 7.
And it's good on good.
Competing against the defense. Yeah. Good on good. You can make a joke there, but right. Starters versus starters. Let's put it that way. And you're competing there. But each receiver in that setting might be getting 1 or 2 reps each. The quarterbacks are getting the reps. The line is getting the reps, or if they're 11 on 11. But unless the ball's being thrown to you, you're not getting a rep really about competing against a defensive back. You're just not. And then they do at least 2 periods, or they have been anyway, especially in the preseason, where the wide receivers would go against the DBs one-on-one. Yeah. And it would be, any number of routes, a slant, a stop, a fade, and they compete one-on-one there. But again, those wide receivers are probably getting, I don't know, what would you guess, Aslan? 5 or 6 reps in that particular drill each? Maybe that's a lot. Maybe that's too much. Maybe it's 4.
Yeah.
I would, and then they do team stuff at the end where they're competing against DBs. I would,
for a lot
both
of that, though,
parties.
They do. Yeah, the one-on-ones, they'll go up against scholarship guys, but then they do a lot of scout work. And then you're going up against scout team guys, and you're getting a look of what the defense is going to be, but you're not getting anywhere near the caliber of competition that you're going to see on a Saturday.
Have you ever seen these practices? I watch Florida State will do. Every basketball team does it. They're rebounding drills, and it's just 1 or 2. It's 4 guys in the paint, 2 on offense, 2 on defense, and the coach just throws a ball off the glass, and your job is to go get the rebound.
Right.
And man, I am to the point with these receivers and these DBs, quite frankly, that I don't need 20 minutes. I don't need 4 or 5 periods of getting my hands right on a block, pushing the DB out wide on a block, or, any of the detail stuff that I know I'm not saying is important. It's very important. But right now, more than anything, you've got to get these receivers to go make plays. You've got to get them to go over the top in traffic and beat dudes one-on-one, and you've got to get your DBs to stop having that happen. That might be those are 2 of the biggest problems on this entire team. I would take half of each practice, and this is why I'm not a football coach, granted, because you're supposed to have a routine. But at this point, with what I'm seeing, I would take half of practice, an hour a day, and have the receivers go up against the DBs. Just jump balls, man. You're at the 5, the DB's at the 4, you're running to the end zone, and we're throwing a jump ball. And then you're at the 50, he's at the 45, you know what's coming, you're running a go, he's running with you, can you go make a catch? And can you make a back shoulder catch? Over and over and over again. See who can actually do this. Malik McClain might be awesome at it. You would hope he is. They threw a fade to him on the most important play of the season so far. And so that these receivers just aren't making plays. And I don't know that they get I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. I'm not a coach. I've never organized a football practice. But don't you think they need some more reps of just going up and catching the ball like over someone? Not Not practice high pointing it by yourself against air, but with somebody draped on you. Maybe somebody grabbing your arm. Going and being strong with your hands through contact and making a catch. Because the Wake Forest kids do it. And are they just naturally blessed? Were they touched by God before they were born to be able to make plays like that? Or do they rep that a little bit more? They drill that a little bit more? Or do they just recruit guys that they know can do that? I'm flustered by how bad the wide receivers have been. And it's almost like they're so bad, you have to change the way they practice, in my opinion. Somehow, some way, make them better, give them more reps catching the ball against contact.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to that. I like it. You're trying to provide some solutions here. I mean, I think
that's what I do. I got a solution for Dillingham about how to talk to the media, or to the fans, I should say. And then, man, an hour. The whole practice. Like, don't even have the wide receivers do anything else other than go catch balls. Go catch balls while they're getting hit in the back. You don't have to use scholarship athletes. You can have the walk-ons. You can have the trainers, the team managers hitting them with the pads, but hit them hard every time they try to catch a ball.
Yeah, I mean, they let kickers kind of go to their own devices during a practice. Like, why not just let the receiver just go at it the entire time and try to figure this thing out? I mean, I was going to try to talk about, I don't know how much of it's like limiting your rotation, but I mean, they played here 7 different receivers. Burrell, Helton, Williamson, Portier, McLean, Pokey, Parchment, all played. I don't know how much of it's like, how much of this is them not knowing who they can depend on,
right?
And then maybe having to force
played what, five snaps?
6, it looks like 6, and 4 of them were passes. 2 of them were run blocks. Yeah, one of them was like he ran a clear out and he did a good job. He cleared it out, and then it was a swing pass to Jayshon. But by the time Jayshon turned around and caught the ball, there was a guy on his toes, and it was a nothing play. But I mean, how much of this though is like they don't know who their quarterback is? They really don't have a very, I don't want to say cohesive. We keep saying that word, but it looks a little bit dubious the way they're using their running back rotation. And I mean, maybe even receivers, is that they admit they don't have an identity on what they're going to be offensively. And I don't know what comes first. Like, you figure out the players and then you create with an identity, or are you trying to create an identity and then figure out what players will fit into it? But
and it's also hard, right? Like, for the receivers, I do give them a pass in the sense that they don't get Jordan Travis threw 6 passes in the first half, and one of them was a Hail Mary. Like, they threw 7 passes in the first half. There's not a lot of reps. There's not a lot of game experience that's being gotten on the field right now. They'll get better and they'll get more confidence. Like Ira said in the press conference, does success come with confidence, or do you get confidence because you have success? How do you start that cycle? But they don't have any confidence because they haven't had any success, but they also don't get a lot of at-bats. And I'm not suggesting they should. But, man, you run the ball. If you're going to be a running team, be a running team. If you want to see what these wide receivers are, maybe Milton throws it 50 times on. I would not suggest that, but maybe he throws it 50 times against Louisville, and you just see what you got. Maybe McLean has 8 for 130, and then he takes off. I'm telling you, it sounds goofy. Rashad Green caught a pass, and there is no Rashad Green on this team, but Rashad Green caught a pass in the second game of his freshman year, I think. Maybe it was his first game. It probably was his first game. Charleston Southern, some meaningless play. He didn't get on the field until the fourth quarter of his first game, and he caught a touchdown pass from Clint Trickett. It was a nice catch. And then I think the next week is the Oklahoma catch. And he was on the field. He got that experience as a true freshman. He got that experience for making a play when it mattered. And maybe you could see one of these guys take off. I don't know who. I don't know if it's Parchment. It doesn't appear to be heading down that road. Maybe it's McLean. Maybe it's Burrell or Portier if they can get on the field and stay on the field. One of these guys can take off and become a player if they make a play that matters in a game. But you got to get a chance to make a play to matter in the game.
Well, respect my guy, Rashad Green. First game, true freshman, 1 catch, 28 yards, touchdown against Louisiana Monroe. Week 2, 98 yards on 2 catches, both touchdowns. And then Oklahoma, he had that 56-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and then the Clemson game,
he went
was on
1, 2, 3. He had 5. He went 5 games in a row catching a touchdown. Gosh, I missed that.
In the Clemson game, his freshman year, he had I thought he had almost like close to 200 or something.
8 for 98 against Clemson, 12 for 163 against Wake.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, that's it as a freshman, and then he got
Yes.
hurt, and then I don't think played again or wasn't himself again until the Notre Dame game, in the bowl game. But yeah, man, like again, these guys aren't Rashad Green probably, but would we know if there was a Rashad Green on this team? Would we know? I don't know. I don't know. And again, it just goes back to you've got to figure out a way somehow, some way to get these receivers some confidence and get them playing and making plays at least at a Wake Forest caliber level.
Well,
Because right now they're not. It's 3rd and 8. You don't have anybody you can throw a back shoulder throw to. You don't have anybody you can trust is going to run, is going to get separation when it matters on a 3rd and 7 or a 2nd and 11 play action. You just don't have that guy. Maybe Pokey. Pokey had a nice game. He had a really nice play on the 1 down to the 1. But other than that, none of these guys have proven jack squat. And I just think you've got 9 games left to get these guys right, man. Dugans might be coaching for his job. So you've got to figure out a way to get these receivers to start playing somewhere near a Florida State caliber level, man. Because this has been gross for a while.
And Dillingham did say that there are things he can do, running bunch formations, stack formations, maybe having some more rub pick routes. So I mean, he did say there are things that he can do to create.
Well, do it then, Kenny.
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah. It's winning season over at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code WARCHANT for a first-time deposit. You will get your funds doubled. Maybe even your fun, but your funds with a D will get doubled. So, Corey, I am now 0 for 6 on suggestions, but I witnessed or I realized my weakness, and I told everybody going into last week, I'm going to give you 3 picks sincerely. Go against me on them. So I don't know if anybody listened to me or not, but I said over on Mississippi State, Memphis. It went under. I said over on, I think, Southern Miss and Troy. It went under. And then I picked Florida State to win straight up. So hopefully you guys use that. Maybe I'll do that again.
You guys made some money there on those picks.
Yeah. So go against what I'm saying. In the meantime, play the $50,000 Survivor contest. It's absolutely free. So if you've ever been a subscriber or a customer of MyBookie, or you're going to sign up here with that promo code WARCHANT, you'll get a free entry into their $50,000 Survivor pool. You just got to pick a winner each week to keep your streak alive. Is there anything out there you want me to look up for you, Corey, that you want to give to the people? What do you think about Michigan 18.5 favorite against Rutgers? I think I'd take Michigan. Give Rutgers
I would
points.
too. They look like they're and it's not like you're going. I assume that game's it's in
Ann Arbor. Yeah.
Oh, it is? I
Yes.
figured it was in New Jersey.
No.
Yeah, I would definitely take Michigan then. They look like they might be a real team this year. So yeah, I don't like giving points normally, especially not that much. But I like Michigan. It's Rutgers, man. It's Rutgers. I know he's a good coach at Rutgers, but they're not going to stay within 3 touchdowns of Michigan. Come on, that's a lock. That's a lock of the century.
My children will be fighting Arkansas versus A&M. Arkansas at home, taking 5.5 points.
Man, that's
Yeah.
A&M's defense is so good. Yeah. It's so good, but I don't trust them to move the ball a lot with that quarterback. 5 and I think that's going to be like a 20-17 type game that A&M survives. So or 17-13. So what I'm telling you folks is take the Hogs and the points. Are you kidding me? This is like taking candy from a bunch of little babies, a bunch of little wee babies. Man, I'm making you guys. You're not going to give me an ACC game? What is all this SEC nonsense? There's got to be an ACC showdown that people care about.
North Carolina and Georgia Tech then probably would, qualify for that one. Georgia Tech at home catching 12.
Yeah, I don't care about that game.
MyBookie.ag, use the promo code WARCHANT. All right, pivoting then to defense. Again, what made me feel bad about Adam Fuller is that Adam Fuller, when he showed up last week after the Jacksonville State game, I don't want to say he was upbeat, but he just, he was a professional, showed up, wasn't grumpy, wasn't trying to intimidate anybody, wasn't ducking any questions, embraced it, told us, ask all the questions you want. I want to explain all this to you. This past Monday, he just seemed a little bit more of a defeated guy. And, maybe part of it, I don't know, but part of it is he realized, he's throwing everything he can at this. Depth charts, we probably read too much into depth charts, but, man, the entire back half of the defense is completely different, at least in terms of who's starting week 1.
Read them out. Who is
Notre
it?
Dame. So when they started Notre Dame, Jamie's your nickel, he's still your nickel, but your cornerback was Travis J. or Jarian, but it was Travis. Buck was Brendan Gant. Your free safety was Akeem Dent, and then your other cornerback was Jarvis Brownlee. And the depth chart they released for Louisville, they've got Jamie at nickel. One cornerback is Miko with Travis backing him up. Buck is Sidney Williams. Your free safety is Renardo Green. And then your other cornerback spot is Jarvis or Jarian. And somebody tweeted at us and just asked, hey, man, can they put somebody on this? I think A.T. Perry was who they're probably trying to get covered. Like, hey, can we get somebody on this guy? And it's like, he's like, nobody's covering anybody. It's like, well, actually, they got Jacory Roberson, who's a really good receiver, and he hasn't done a lot. So whoever's covering him is probably doing their job. Now, nobody graded all that well. I think Miko was the highest graded guy, so maybe he was taking care of that guy. And then, you just hope that some combination of Jarvis, Jarian, or Travis J can step up and be a good cornerback. Because I don't think they don't have any good pure cover corners. I mean, Adam Fuller talked about it's showing up on the same individuals, and it's usually technique. And he mentioned later on in the interview in the press conference about there's just certain times where it's coverage. Whether it's you playing off the ball or you jamming a guy, you have to be on a guy's hip when the ball is being delivered. And if you can't be a guy that can stay in phase or what have you, like, what can he do? Like, I don't know how much he can try to cover up your deficiency as a cover corner. I try to ask him, like, you can do more zone. Like, how does this all work? And that's when he kind of went his whole thing about, hey, listen, just it's a technique thing. It's coming up to being the same guys. And he's like, we're not. He's like, we're finding a happy medium, but he's like, in this day and age with football, if you play off on guys, quarterbacks are too good. They'll get rid of the ball quickly. They like what they got pass rush wise. That's why they are playing kind of aggressive out on the perimeter, because they do feel they can rush the quarterback into making some contested throws. But their guys are not staying in phase. I mean, if they played off, then your pass rush doesn't really matter. I mean, go ahead, play off, and then we'll throw a 3-yard hitch, and we'll probably get 7 yards on it by the time the guy closes in on him. He's shaking everything up as much as he can. Like, this is part of the process of you emptying everything out on your way out, probably. And that's what I feel bad about, because he has been honest, and I think, man, him more than anybody probably just doesn't have anywhere near the amount of groceries that he needs to be better. But, hey, man, you had an option to go in the portal and get some guys, and you got a third-string guy from Arkansas who's now a third-string guy for you here too. So, and
you got the cornerback from UCF that didn't even make it through August at another corner spot you thought would give you some depth, and that was a miss. But again, I don't know that he took a spot from somebody that wanted to come, and they're like, no, we know you want to come, but we're getting Brandon Moore. I don't know if that happened. But that was obviously a misfire.
He did point out that Kevin Noles has been playing a lot. I
wanted to say that. So he said he's playing 40 snaps a game. But, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. He played 18 against Wake.
That's what PFF said, yeah.
Yeah, that's not 40. Yeah. And again, he's playing slot corner, it seems like, not so much on the outside. Like, he doesn't even seem to be in the running on the outside.
Right.
And I thought that's kind of where his strength was. It's tough in the slot, man. It's tough. To play man-on-man in the slot over the middle of the field where they have the whole middle of the field to work with, and you have the linebackers you have, that's a tough ask for anyone. And, Kevin Noles, I know, gave up that touchdown. I think it was Noles, right? They gave up the touchdown to Jacksonville State that was called back. That was his guy, I think. It didn't count because there was a legal man downfield, so it took him two plays later to score. But I think Noles out wide, is a good option, and I'm surprised they haven't used him there more. But he's also a freshman. It's a tough ask. Could he look any worse than some of these guys? I don't know. I shouldn't ask those questions. Maybe he could. But yeah, going back to the groceries, and he doesn't have a ton of talent. No, he doesn't. He's got some guys on the front line. Keir Thomas was a nice pickup. Jermaine Johnson's been really, really good. Imagine George. I mean, how good is Georgia's defense? That they don't even miss that dude.
Yeah.
But so anyway, speaking of Georgia, this is the point I wanted to bring up. So I didn't get to watch that game on Saturday because I was watching. I was driving back after what we saw in Winston-Salem. So I listened to it, and then on Sunday night I watched the highlights of the game for the first time. And
the JT Daniels player, was it all that Stetson Bennett kid?
No, he played. So he played. He looked good, but their offense, maybe it's something. Who knows?
Todd Monken's a good dude. B, don't be so.
Yeah, no, I know. I think it's from the top down. I think if he had free reign, it'd be one thing. Right. I think Kirby really puts the clamps on his coordinators a little bit. But anyway, did you see, by the way, Shane Beamer's answer? It was on Twitter on Monday when one of the South Carolina reporters asked him, like, why Georgia's defensive line had so much success, why Georgia's defense had so much success against the South Carolina offense.
No.
And he's like, well, they have 100 5-stars on their defense. They have dudes everywhere. They have a guy that's 340 pounds. This was like a direct quote. They have a defensive lineman that's 340 pounds that runs better than anyone on this call, because it was a Zoom call.
Yeah.
They got 5-stars everywhere. What do you want me to say? They're big and fast, and they play physical. And then he threw in a damn. Like, he couldn't believe he got that question. Like, what are we supposed to do with him? But what was interesting about watching the Georgia game, and again, I know this defense does not have anything close. Georgia's got NFL literally everywhere on that defense. They're really good. But they're also really well coached. And I say that because there was a play in particular when I'm watching the Georgia game where South Carolina's in a one-back shotgun. The safety is I don't know the name of the kid, but he's 15 yards off the ball. As soon as the ball is snapped and he sees one of the offensive linemen do something, there was some key he had that as soon as he saw it, he flew up the field to a spot, flew to it, and he makes the tackle. They give it to the running back. He fills a hole and makes a tackle 1 yard past the line of scrimmage from 15 yards away. He flew with reckless abandon because he was 100% confident in what the play was and where the ball was going. And they had another play where they had two dudes sniff out a screen pass. As soon as the ball was snapped, they ran to the spot where the guy was going to catch the pass. And it's like, yeah, it's easy to say that because they have great talent that they can do things like that. But they're so... I just wonder how much film they're watching to be able to, or how much pride they take in it. You know, maybe that's something. Maybe they watch film better. Maybe they diagnose things quicker, or maybe they're better coached.
Yeah.
They're certainly more talented, a lot more talented. But, man, like, they could coast through a game and beat South Carolina by 20 points because they are so talented. They could play like the 2014 FSU defense and still will win games. But when you see plays like that, when they're so well coached, that kid knew from the moment, from the jump, that's where the ball's going, and I'm sprinting full speed there. You don't see that a ton with this defense, do you? I remember...
Well, go root for Georgia then, Corey. All right, go root for Georgia then.
Hey, buddy, I do. It is the year. 41 years later, it's happening. But I remember a play where Deloach, I think it was the Notre Dame game. It might have been Jack State. It certainly wasn't this last one, but I think it. And by the way, I meant to say, you mentioned Sidney Williams. He won't be playing the first half on Saturday, so we'll see who gets the majority of the reps at that position. But there was a play, I think it was Notre Dame, where Deloach saw an alignment. It might have been Jack State, actually. He saw an alignment, and he started shouting at the cornerback to do something. Like, it's coming this way. He started pointing, and it's coming that way. He pointed to where the play was going, and he was right. And the cornerback went up and made a tackle for like a minimal gain. And it's like, man, it was so, you just don't see that a lot. So it really caught my eye that they knew what, Kalen DeLoach knew what play was coming. And when you're not all that talented, especially in the back end, if you're well coached enough to recognize keys, to figure out where they're trying to go with the ball, where they're probably going to go with the ball because you see this alignment in this set, you can overcome some deficiencies. Yeah. You're not going to be Georgia. They're the best defense in the country. But you can overcome some deficiencies, and you don't see that a ton. It doesn't, especially on the back seven, right?
Yes.
It doesn't seem like they know where to be a lot of the time.
I think there was a moment against Wake Forest where Jermaine was trying to tell guys what to do, and they were like, and like they didn't know what to do. But the play actually I don't think worked out that bad for him. But they got guys who know what they're doing, but they're obviously
not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
And listen, I'm not saying keep Adam Fuller. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I agree with Corey's point. Like, figure out ways to instill more confidence in your players so that they can play faster, get to spots quicker, and make better plays. Maybe turn around quicker so they, and he mentioned it's a technique thing. So I don't know, man. Figure out a way to make sure they know how to turn around and be in phase when they're running with a receiver. But it's just like the reality of what it is right now. I mean, it's week 4. It's year 2 for him. It's year 2 for everybody. But like it just seems like he kind of knows, like, hey man, like look what I did to depth chart. That's where I'm at right now. That's what
I just want to see, like, look, again, we're okay. Some of those first downs that Wake Forest made, it's just their guy beating your guy. Like, he made a better play than your guy did. That's sad, but that's the reality of it. But there's a lot of plays where Wake Forest made where it didn't look like your guy was in the right spot. It's not as bad as last year when dudes are running free, but it's still looking like there's just they're out scheming you, and your players aren't reacting to what they're seeing, or they don't know what they're seeing. And I just use that Georgia play as an example. It's not even a fair comparison. I understand that. They have 5-star dudes everywhere, as Beamer said. Excuse me. But they also know what to look for. And again, I that's another thing. I'm not going to be watching the defense much the rest of the year. I already admitted it's going to be all about the offense and maybe a punt block. Looking for a punt block out of all these roughing the punter calls. I want one to just pay off with a punt block. But I want to see I want to see guys talking and knowing where they're supposed to be. That's a good sign, right?
Yes.
You don't see that a lot. And it's not a good defense, and that's why you don't see it. It's not a good defense. It's not overly talented. But you can make up for some things if you know where you're supposed to be and if you know what you're looking for. And why does the Georgia safety know exactly where that ball is going? And he's awesome. He doesn't have to do that. They're awesome. It doesn't matter if he knows where the ball is going because the linebacker is going to make a play anyway, probably. But at Florida State, it doesn't always seem like they know exactly where the play's going. Hopefully that changes. We got 9 weeks, baby. We got 9 weeks to get this thing right. Am I right, Aslan? The Orange Bowl is still on the table.
It is. So what changes this all? Like, will it be a blocked punt? Will it be a big shot touchdown on offense, or will it be a scoop and score, Kane Doe-esque play? Like, what's the one thing that can change the fortunes of what remains the rest of the season?
I don't know. Maybe it's me getting the cancer off my nose.
Okay, there we go. Symbolic.
Maybe that's the good luck, something that the program needed to rebound. Like, I don't know how long this has been there, but we got rid of that cancer anyway. So let's see what happens.
My brother just sent me a screenshot. Uncle Luke down in Miami wants Manny gone and he wants Lane. Back up off my guy, Luke. Back up off my guy.
Right. Yeah. I don't know that. I think Lane would go to Miami.
Nah.
I think he'd rather wait it out at Ole Miss for something else.
All right, we're going to not wait it out much longer. We're going to head to practice. We'll have interviews up with, I think we'll get Coach Norvell and players. It'll all be up on our YouTube channel, which you should be subscribed to. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. And don't forget headlines coming up later today, 1 to 3 o'clock live here on YouTube and 93.3 FM.
Don't look at my face.
Tallahassee.
I'm a monster. Don't look at my face on that show. Look away. Just look at Ira and Jeff.
Look into his eyes. Look into the eyes of a handsome man. Tell him how handsome he is, everybody. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.